Hi everyone, it's Mwelwa and I'm at Intercontinental Hotel in Lusaka, Zambia, where Standard Bank Group are having something special at their Zambia outfit. Today I'll be speaking to one of the group's executives who will be telling me a little bit about the bank and their aspirations for Africa and Zambia in particular. So stay tuned and get to know. So Funeka, you are the group chief executive of personal and private banking for Standard Bank Group. We understand that it's one of the largest African banks by assets, operating in over 20 countries across the continent, with headline earnings of around 42 billion rand. What are the group's vision in terms of what's the group's vision in terms of how it intends to grow its footprint across Africa?
Sure, thank you. Thank you very much for the question, and thank you very much for having me here in Lusaka. I've received a very warm welcome. So Standard Bank Group is definitely a regional player. We, as you say, we're in over 21 countries. We also have two banks outside of Africa, which is really meant to, in Isle of Man and Jersey, and we do that to stabilize African wealth. You know how it is sometimes with the fluctuations in currency that sometimes we have. It's important that we also have a place where we can put stable currency. But in terms of growth, there's really two things. The first one is we want to grow into our scale. So we typically have very large banks in Southern Africa, and we also have a large bank in Uganda. And our corporate and investment bank is quite large. So we have an opportunity now to grow our personal and private bank and the business and commercial bank across the continent. So it's growing into our scale. Secondly, we believe that the East is going to grow faster than the West and Southern, at least in the short term. So we do want to scale that business faster, even if we are even on the lookout for inorganic opportunities. And lastly, North Africa is interesting. So we've actually just opened up a rep office in Egypt just to check out. And so we are always looking for opportunities to grow into North Africa as well. But lastly, the most important thing is that after much reflection, we are very clear. We are an African bank. We will do work. We will exist in Africa, and to the extent that we have operations outside of Africa, we will do that for Africans.
So that's very, very interesting, considering that you've got huge aspirations across the continent. But let's bring it back home here in Zambia. I know you've just arrived. What are the aspirations for the bank for Zambia?
So let me start by saying we're very proud of this bank, the Zambian bank. I hear that it's turning 64 years this year. We think that we've got a very breakaway leadership in the corporate and investment bank, and we have very good bank in commercial banking, and we also think we've got a really good bank in private banking as well. So what we really want to do is to really grow into the small and smaller businesses. We want to increase our scale there. And I'm also very excited about how do we turn this population dividend, the average median age of 17. How do we turn this population dividend into a talent dividend? And therefore, we are quite passionate about building solutions that enable young people to grow and be economically active.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned the young population. How much does that excite the bank?
Yeah, for us, that's everything. I think that we are in here for the long term. So while we are very excited about private banking clients and their potential economic outlook for the bank, we know that a client that's private banking typically at some stage would have been middle market client. And those clients typically, when we look at them across the continent, they come from youth. So we know that if you do young people well, or at least if you've got great relationship with young people, you have a future. And besides that, our claim to fame, our value proposition to the world is this population dividend. We actually have to turn it into a talent dividend.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. I just sat down for an amazing interview with Funeka of Standard Bank Group. She's the Group CEO of Personal and Private Banking, and she has been in Lusaka to speak to the media and amongst other issues that she's obviously going to be dealing with. But it's been such an honor to actually speak to her. So stay tuned, as always, on Financial Insight as we continue to try and bring you premium content for all our viewers. This is Mwelwa Sekunda. Get to know.